What's up, guys? Welcome to another Kinstretch class with Kirk. I'm really excited about today's class. This class is going to be more about a position than it is a true body part, but we're going to be working mainly the hip and the shoulder out of what's called the RT4 position. So I'm combining a different rehab technique called DNS, or Dynamic Neuromuscular Stabilization. DNS is, in my opinion, it's probably the best way to teach stability in the body. Now, FRC, Kinstretch, this is the best way to teach mobility. So we're going to kind of blend these two concepts into a class out of one DNS position. And I can show you like all the different ways that you can train out of this amazing stabilizing position that we go through in developmental kinesiology, which means we go through it when we develop in our first year of life. So the theory is that it's actually like almost a pre-planned blueprint in our brain of how to move. So I really like this position, and I'll show you guys why. Okay, so the RT4 position, it stands for rolling transition 4. Essentially, it starts in this kind of modified side plank position, but the butt starts on the ground, and it can be going from here to here. So that's kind of the rolling transition. All right, so we're going to hang out in a few different areas in these positions, and we're going to show you some amazing end range options from these positions, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to do some glenohumeral cars. So don't want to hit my hat as always. All right, so from here, the things to note with this position, really got to focus on intra-abdominal pressure. I know you guys have seen that before, but make sure that you're not getting a bunch of lateral bending in the torso and the lumbar spine. Bring that straight. If I were to have a ruler or a meter stick, that should come from your pelvis or your kind of pubic symphysis here, and that can run all the way up through your neck, okay? So we're not letting the neck kind of crank up like that. Everything's in a nice straight line. From here, we're going to get into this. You can call this, some people call it like a modified side plank. It's a great regression for like a typical side plank, but it also integrates the hip a lot more than a typical side plank does too, okay? This downside hip can stay at about 45 degrees, okay? And then as you roll up, you want to make sure, like, just practice this for a sec. Roll with your entire torso and not just like twisting in your upper body, okay? So that's a little bit of a weird feeling if you've never done this before, but it is good to know throughout the class, all right? So, okay, so we're gonna come here, we're gonna roll up onto this hip, and we're gonna hold this good position. Now we're gonna go with GH cars. So palm faces up towards the wall over here. We're gonna bring it as high as we can. We're gonna brush our ear. We're then gonna start to internally rotate, twist all the way out as we come back. This top side hip should almost be kind of up in this position a little bit. Then we're going to go back the other way, rotate around. And same here. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Squeeze as much range as you can. And back the other way. One more. Brush that ear. Rotate as much as you can. Squeeze as much range as you possibly can here. And then back the other way. And slowly come down. So you can see how it's a lot more of a challenge to hold stability in that position versus like a tall kneeling position when we're doing GH cars, okay? So we're adding an element of a challenge. This is more of an advanced course, okay, or advanced class, because we have kind of the other factor of stability added on to like end range control at the joint we're training, okay? So we're gonna come up, other side, palm faces up. We're going to come up into flexion, high as we can go. Brush the ear, rotate around. Rib cage stays down. Other way, rotate around. It's also a great way to keep irradiation You don't really have a choice. If you're moving in all these other areas of your body, this position will tell you that immediately. One more. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to go into RT4 with hip cars. So with this position, exact same position, only difference is this top side leg is going to be the one that's doing cars, okay? So just like we did, palm facing up, horizontal adduction, come up as high as you can in flexion, rotate around. All those same rules will apply at the hip. You guys have done hip cars before. You know how these look and how they work, okay? So from here, we're in this RT4 position, 45-degree angle, nice straight line from the pubic symphysis all the way up. We're then going to roll, get up into our nice kind of side plank position. This leg now travels as high as we can. We're going to come up, rotate around, bringing that heel up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your butt back into extension and back to neutral. Back into extension, abduct, rotate around, and back down. Number 2, squeeze as much rotation as you can get. And back into extension, abduct, drive as much as you can out of this. One more. You're going to notice this is challenging to the shoulder as well as the downside hip. And relax. The other thing to note is keep an active shoulder. You should not have your shoulder kind of coming up towards your ear. You shouldn't be lazy in this shoulder. You almost want to be thinking about bringing the shoulder away from the ear and then pushing away from the ground a little bit, okay? So it should be a nice, stable position, all right? You can also think about externally rotating to stabilize a little bit. So the elbow stays here, and then you just bring this hand or this forearm out, and you can almost feel these muscles, the good stabilizing muscles around the shoulder blade, starting to kind of glue it to the rib cage. And that's what we want out of this kind of stabilized position here. Okay, so the serratus anterior, all your cuff muscles, all that good stuff. Okay, so we're gonna go with the left side now. I'm wearing sweats today. Don't love it for the hip car portion. So if you have shorts, that would be better. All right, we're gonna roll up. All right. Nice, good position here. Again, I have an active shoulder. I'm nice and solid with the downside hip. We're going to bring the top side hip up into flexion as high as we can, dragging that foot on the ground. Come out into abduction. We're going to rotate around, squeezing this heel up towards the ceiling, and then back down into extension. Squeeze your left glute here. Rotate around. And back down. Number 1. Rotate. Number 2. Last one. And number 3. Whew. All right, so you can feel those lateral hip stabilizers firing from the downside leg. All right, from here, we're going to go into scap cars out of that same position. We're actually going to have the hip down on the ground with these though, okay? So I'm going to show you these from the back here so you can see my back. One sec. Okay, it is working. All right, so a scap car from here, you're going to start with kind of pushing yourself away from the ground. Then you're going to come up towards our ear. We're going to let it fall back towards the spine, suck that shoulder blade back and down, and then push away. Opposite would be towards the spine, up towards the ears, push away, down towards the back pocket. Okay, so I'll show you just on this side, on the right side first, on this kind of back view, and then we'll go the other way too. Okay, so start in this pushed away position, nice and solid. We're now going to come up towards our ears. We're going to allow your shoulder blade to come back towards the spine. We're then going to suck it back and down, back into your back pocket, and then push away from the ground. Up, back, down, away. Up, in, down, away. One more. You can do a square, or if you're comfortable with these, if you feel like you're doing a great job, feel free to try to turn it into a circle, okay? You can try to get a little fluidity of the movement. But if you're just starting these, I would recommend just doing a square, kind of own all those different ranges of motion that are afforded the scapula. All right? And we're going to switch sides from here. Nice and stable position. Up towards our ears, back towards the spine. Suck that shoulder blade back and down and push up. Away, up, in, down, away, up, in, down, away. Opposite, down, in, up, and out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out. One more. Nice, slow, and controlled movements. Beautiful. Okay, so if you've never done scap cars before, the first thing I would do is I would do them open chain. You guys should have done them now that with your morning routine. I would say, with the closed chain ones like that, try to video yourself doing it, because a lot of times feel is not real with those. So you can video and you can see kind of the differences right to left and how the actual shoulder blade is moving. So make sure if you have the time that you video yourself with some of these, especially scap cars, because you can't see them yourself, right? Okay, so now we're going to go into some internal rotation pales rails for the downside shoulder. Okay, so the first thing you can do, depending on the amount of internal rotation range you have, you can start to rotate in until you feel a passive stretch. You should still have an active shoulder, so shoulder blade stays tucked back and down away from your ear. If that is not a stretch yet, reach the other hand behind your back and start to rotate in there, and you should start to feel your end range coming there, okay? From here, we're going to start with pales. So we're going to be pushing this way, okay? So get that end range position. Hold your hand. So my left hand is on the back side of my right fist now, okay? And I'm going to start by pushing into my other hand at 25% of my maximum contraction. I'm going to slowly bring that up to 50%, up to 75, and then I want your greatest, safest, pain-free effort. Keep your shoulder blade tucked back and down. Don't let it hike up towards your ears, and push as hard as you can. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We're not going to lose this position. 2, 1. Now we're going to think about driving our right hand away from our left, trying to drive it back this way. And we're going to have our greatest, safest, pain-free effort on this one. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, if you need to, shake it out a little bit. We're going to do one more set of those, okay? So again, rotate as far as you can in. This is where it is nice to have a mat for your elbow, just because you are getting some end range rotation there. Shoulder blade tucked back and down. Bring that thing into a deep stretch, and I have quite a bit more range here now. If you need to, elbow stays in the same position. Scoot your butt back, and then you'll be able to get a deeper stretch there, okay? All right, let's go 25% pushing back into your hand, which is now like stabilized on my low back. For those of you that are really bendy and have a lot of range in this, you won't have the advantage of it being on your back. You're going to have to hold with your left hand against your right. Build your pressure up to 50%. 75. And your greatest, safest, pain-free effort. Push as hard as you can. Hold, hold, hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't lose position. Rails. Bring your hand away from your body. Your right hand should be driving towards the back wall. Try to space it away from your hand you were just pushing into. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Whew. All right. Same thing on the left side now, okay? So we're going to come into that internal rotation stretch. Again, if you're getting a ton of a stretch here, great. This is where you do your Pales rails. If you can do it, other hand reaches behind, bring yourself a little deeper into that stretch. You can notice I'm not sitting like this, right? I'm not allowing my scap to just rotate up towards my ear. I have an active shoulder pushing away from the ground, keeping it away from my ear. Chin stays tucked, neck is long, good postural position here. Create some tension and irradiation with your core, and now we're going to push into our other hand 25%, up to 50, 75, and your greatest, safest, pain-free effort. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't lose position. Try to drive your left hand internal. I'm trying to screw my arm in as far as you can this way. Trying to drive my left hand towards the back wall. Hold for 10, 9. This one's as hard as you can. 8, 7, 6. Master this end range. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Don't lose position. Shake it out if you need to. Right back into it. Internally rotate. Hold that position. So just so we're clear, Pales is pushing this way. Rails is pulling kind of this way. We're trying to rotate in as far as we can. All right, so we're going to start with our Pales. Push back into our other hand, 25% of your maximum capacity. Ramp it up to 50. Keep that shoulder blade tucked back and down. Don't let it come off your rib cage. 75%. Greatest, safest, pain-free effort, guys. Hold this for 10, 9. Fight for as much as you can. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't lose position. Drive, drive, drive internal. This is our rails, trying to drive our left hand towards the back wall. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. So a quick story about DNS. I think, again, like I said, DNS is probably our best position or our best rehab system for stabilization, in my opinion. It transfers a ton to strength training as well. Now, the one thing I did notice with DNS, though, is that unless you are naturally kind of hypermobile, you're not going to gain range in it, right? So over time, the human body tends to lose range of motion. It's just like how we lose strength over time. We're going to lose range of motion unless we're actively training for it. So that's what we're doing with these classes. Now, we're taking a piece of the stability part of the puzzle, which puts our joint in a really good spot. It keeps it centrated, and then it gets all the muscles around the joint to stabilize as well, while we're working on end range stuff elsewhere. So this is just, it's a beautiful combination. I'm going to try to do more classes like this that combine these two principles because I think they're so powerful when they're used together. Okay, so we're going to go into hip external rotation, pails rails. Okay, so still in this kind of RT4 position, this starter position with the downside hip down. We're going to bring this leg as high as we can. I want you guys to kind of roll into this. Don't roll back out, or else you're not going to feel a stretch in the back part of your hip. Okay? We're doing pails rails from this, so you should feel a stretch here. Just keep bringing it up more and more if you're a very bendy person. Okay, so I can feel a great stretch in the backside of the hip right here. Okay, so your pails are going to be pushing this way with your foot, and then your rails, you're going to be trying to drive as far as you can this way. Same thing on this downside shoulder. We're holding a nice stable position here. Shoulder stays away from your ear, neck stays long, chin stays tucked. Create some pressure with your core, 360 degrees of activation. Start to push your foot into your hand. So you're holding with your hand, but you're also using the ground to resist this. 50%, 75, I'm pushing this way with my left foot. And your greatest, safest, pain-free effort, I want you to hold this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't lose this position. You're going to think about driving your foot away from your hand that's holding it. Try to bring it up as high as you can this way. Hold it, hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to relax. Amazing work. Okay, so if you have the time, I'm trying to be time conscious with this class. If you have the time, pause that and do another set of pails rails on that leg. Because of our time restraint, we're going to go right onto the right side. So left shoulder blade is stabilizing. Now we still have our nice straight line. In the rest of the torso, we're going to come and bring our foot all the way up. We're then going to pull until we feel a nice good stretch there. Almost thinking about tilting your pelvis forward to get that deep stretch in the hip. All right, from here, we're going to go right into our pails rails. Just like with any of our pails rails in any classes, I repeat this over and over, feel free to pause the video and accumulate some time. It never hurts if you have the time to accumulate some time at end range stretching, okay? All right, so we're going to push down and away, trying to bring our hip like this. 25%. Ramp it up to 50. 75. Greatest, safest, pain-free effort. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't lose position. Rails. Think about bringing your foot up towards your head. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Same thing. If you have the time, do another set of that, okay? I'm a little time conscious with this class, so we're going to go into our last exercise here now. This is our hip and shoulder rotations, okay? So it's like a capsular car for our shoulder and our hip at the same time. So we're going to be rotating our body above the hip and above the shoulder, okay? So I'm going to show you from the back side first here. We're going to come up into that kind of modified side plank position. Then from here, all I want you to do is roll all the way into this. This knee on the right side, don't let it touch until you're getting a deep stretch in this hip. Then you're going to bring it all the way back up. And you're going to rotate down. And you're going to come all the way back up. Okay? How it looks like from the front, we're not going quite yet. Up in this position, rotate everything down, and then come back up. The shoulder stays tucked back and down, and then as we rotate, the whole torso is rotating as one unit, okay? So if you videoed yourself doing this, I don't want you guys doing this. This is what happens a lot of times. That's no hip rotation or shoulder rotation, that's spine rotation, okay? So we don't want to be twisting. We want the whole torso from the pelvis all the way up to our head to be rotating on the humerus and on the femur, okay? All right, so we're going to go here and pop up into that modified side plank RT4 position. Chin stays tucked, neck long, active shoulder. 360 degrees of pressure in the core, and then I just want you to rotate in and then push back up. Slowly come back up. Number 5. 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, 10. Okay, so things to note with those. The slower, the better, and then you just got to make sure you're almost doing a barrel roll with your upper torso is kind of the best way to think about this. You'll notice I'm not talking a lot while I'm doing that. It's it's a challenging exercise, so not a lot of instruction outside of my instruction before, so it'll be the same thing here. I'll show you guys this one from the back side. We got 10 of these again, all right? So let's pop on up. Hold this position. Chin stays tucked, neck long, shoulder blades active. We're going to rotate in as far as we can and all the way out. In and out. As we start getting closer to higher reps of this, my talking is going to be going down a notch. Two more. Your downside hip should be barking at you. One more. Okay. Same thing. If that was easy, do another set of them. It shouldn't be easy. The slower and more controlled you make those, the harder they're going to get. I hope you guys enjoyed that class. Again, I'm going to try to do more like this one in the future, and we'll see you at the next class.